You can see the wave light flickering as they're about ready to get started. And hopefully we'll see the blue obviously for the pacemaker, the green for that lead pace, and then it's usually a red for the secondary pace. So keep your eyes peeled for those. And I'll run you through that start list once we're underway. And off we go, and we can see that wave light just chasing them down as the athletes settle into the pace that they want. So as we head through them, we've got Eloise Bull, Olivia Stiltman, Karen Zhang, Mimi Corden-Lloyd, Vilde Veig Henriksen of Norway, Beth Homer of Reconcile Valley and St Mary's University, Katie Lowry, Darcy Hay, Rowan Hughes, Freya Weddle, Abby Brooke, Emily Lowry, Lucy Wilkinson, Alex Barber, Rosha Roberts, Kate O'Neill, Lucy Jones, Neve Britton-Hubbard, Colleen Quigley, Christine Land-Dominez and Georgie Garek. So that is your full lineup. You can see almost the entire field is ahead of those first wave lights. And wave lights obviously introduced in the last few seasons. There was a little bit of debate about them, about how good they are and how helpful they can be. And we've seen some fantastic times off them today. But of course, there is that initial kind of burst of speed that you get when you come off the start line. You want to start hard and settle into your running, and that sometimes can put you ahead of the wave lights, and they don't always account for that initial kind of burst of energy and then slowing down, and that can be a little bit confusing for the athletes because of course they don't want to lose their rhythm. It's much easier for them to stay consistent than it is to adjust and surge and slow down and lose energy that way. So that's of course one of the minor drawbacks from wave lights, but these athletes of course well practiced in using the wave lights now. They've been around for a good few seasons and they'll be getting very, very used to it. But Colleen Quigley donning bib number 309, she's the fastest on paper. But Lucy Jones is the one leading us out at the minute. I think we'd speak more about her. Scott, Lucy Jones has had a stunning year, hasn't she? Mass winner of the London Marathon, 2:05 over 800 metres, 4:10 over 15. Talk about range. She's done it all this year. Lucy Jones happily sat then behind that pacemaker. Georgie Garek in there as well. Colleen Quigley, the tall figure, sat in third. And these girls really closely packed together at the moment, looking very comfortable.
Yeah, sorry Rosie, Lucy Jones, I mean, it is quite mind-blowing really, that range. You talk about somebody running a 2:05 800 in the same year that they've run a 2:30 marathon, and people would say that's really tough for a bloke to do. It's even harder for a female athlete to do it. Somebody that is still developing, and she's taken 10 seconds off her 800 best this summer. She was great at the England champs not too many weeks ago over the 1500 metres. She won by a long way on that day. So I think she's got a good opportunity here to take a huge chunk off that 9:11 best that she set indoors at the BMC Grand Prix in Sheffield. If this goes well, she goes sub-9. If it doesn't go so well, she's still going to run something around 9:05, I think. So she's putting herself in the best position to do it. She's got all the tools now. She's got the speed on the 8. She's got the strength from the marathon. That maybe or maybe doesn't have much bearing on a race like the 3000, you wouldn't think, but all that running she's done to get to that marathon point will definitely have helped her when it starts to hurt a little later on.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's not only is it just the aerobic base that she's put in, the miles, they're always going to pay off, but the mental resilience of marathon training to run a time like that was absolutely incredible, that London Marathon performance. And I think obviously it's been a massive springboard for her in all distances. But you're right, it is so incredibly hard for an athlete to run a range like that in such quality. And I think you're spot on, Scott, that if this doesn't go so well tonight, we're still going to be looking around her PB sort of territory, if not quicker. And if it does go well, then hopefully we'll see something around that 8:55, 8:52 sort of mark. Of course, a reminder, the pace set at 8:52.5, so and she's happily ticking along behind the pacemaker at the minute, with Georgie Garek tucked in just behind her, and those two have moved clear of Colleen Quigley at the moment. Actually, the American just dropping off the pace a little bit. So I am really excited, and whenever I see Lucy Jones' name on the start list at the moment, I think that's going to be a fantastic race, because I'm so intrigued to see what she can do next, because this season has been limitless for her, really.
Yeah, absolutely, and she got a massive check as part of a Puma project for dropping the most time off her marathon best at the London Marathon. I'm not sure they do massive checks here tonight in Tooting, but she could be well on the way to get a decent amount of money as well, should we say. So, yeah, if she gets something quick, it could be very impressive for her. But at the minute, she's putting herself in the best position possible. Georgie Gret, as you say, looking good in second spot at the moment, just doing exactly what she needs to do and just latching on the back of that pace. I think we're well off that preset pace, Rosie, now of what was the preset pace of 8:52, I should say. All the numbers in front of me, but 8:52. I think we're just drifting off that, aren't we? So we're looking for something outside 9 minutes now, probably.
Yeah, I think it's likely, and you can see the gap has opened up between Jones and Grek and our pacemaker. So it's not surprising. I mean, at the end of a long season, I don't think anyone can complain too much, given the work and the shift that these girls have put in. But Jones, I've got to say, is still looking pretty strong, still looking pretty comfortable, and we'll obviously we're entering the business end now of this 3,000 metres, and that angle there, perhaps a little bit deceiving, but it looks to me like Colin Quigley might have just closed in a little bit on the other. So yeah, you can see she's just surging back and reeling them in. That gap is diminishing, so it'll be interesting to see what the American can do here, and if in fact the front two Herne Hill Harriers have gone a little bit too hard too soon. Of course, they'll be training together relatively regularly at this training ground, but Colleen Quigley here to kind of throw the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit, I think, as she really does reattach herself to that trio after a bit of a solo stint. And I believe it's Niamh Bridgen-Hubbard behind them, the Cambridge University athlete, the fourth in the books long course this year, so we know the kind of strength that she has. But Lucy Jones just dropping back into second for the first time in this 3,000 metres, and I'm intrigued to see now what Colleen Quigley can do.
Yeah, well, it's good to see that she's just clawed back some, and actually now that the pacemaker's dropped out of this race, Greyetch getting to the front, just taking the load off Lucy Jones, starting to push it on it. I mean, we're into the final couple of laps, and I think maybe that is a pre-planned move. Get to the front, try and make it hard in the final 2 laps, and she's doing that here. She has got more experience, Georgie Greyetch. She's run 8:52 this year, so we know she's quick. She's ran that at a BMC this season, just over 5 weeks ago, so she will try and make it hurt over this final 600 metres. As you say, what can Quigley do here? She's got all that experience, and now is she just starting to make a move, just going on the outside of Lucy Jones, and to be at this stage, the final 500 metres, Rosie, with 3 athletes still in the mix, almost all shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting final lap here, and you just mentioned the experience that Quigley has. Of course, she was one of the American steeplechasers back in 2017 at the World Championships that was able to get themselves on the podium in London, so she's got experience of major championships, Olympic Games, notorious call-ups. So yeah, the racing smarts are definitely there for Quigley, and she's put herself in a fantastic position and been able to get herself back in the race here as Jones does begin to drop back ever so slightly. Greg stretching from the front now, but Quigley deciding that 300 metres to go, that's her time to really put a bit of a surge in, and it's all about whether there'll be a response or not from the rest. And the other two looking like they can't quite live with the new pace from Colleen Quigley, the American, looking really strong. Georgie Grek not quite down out yet, the New Zealander still holding on just about. There's about a metre or 2 perhaps between the 1 and 2 at the moment, but coming in to that home straight. The arms are pumping from Colleen Quigley. She's really going for it now. She moves slightly wide to defend her inside line. Not that it's needed, of course. She's well clear now. Colleen Quigley with a fantastic display of 3,000 metre running, fantastic display of pure grit. Stops the clock on 9 minutes, .32. Lucy Jones comes through for third, Georgie Grek in second. I think that is a superb run again for Lucy Jones. I think that's going to be another personal best, perhaps not quite what she'd have wanted, but another PB on the board, I reckon. Georgie Grek going to be outside of her PB, 8:52, her best run earlier this year, but it won't matter. It was a good, hard-fought race and a great way to head towards the end of our programme here at Tooting BEC.
Yeah, superb. I mean, that just goes to show, you mentioned it at the start of that final lap that it was the experience of Quigley from racing at the London World Champs, getting a medal then, and competing on the circuit many years since. That does go to show in the final lap when you start to pull away from the rest of the field, and it did tonight. Quigley outside 9 minutes. I said, didn't I, a few laps in, it looked like they drifted off the pace. Maybe it wasn't going to be 8:52, it was going to be in and around 9 minutes. 9 minutes .33, the official time in the end. It's not quick. You could see the trees blowing around in the background here in Tooting, but yeah, to have 3 athletes, Rosie, in the final 200 metres still in contention in a 3,000 on a Wednesday night in Tooting, exactly what we all came here to see.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and that's what the BMC is so brilliant at doing, making sure that these races are put on, that they're seeded well, they're paced well, that they're attractive for these top-end runners, and it leads to brilliant, brilliant racing, and that's exactly what we've just seen here. Again, the surge from Colin Quigley down the home straight. The resilience, the strength she's got from the 3,000 steeplechase just really came through there. She was just unstoppable in that final home straight, and it's yeah, it was a pleasure to watch actually that 3,000 metres.
Yeah, for sure.